Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking Indiana Pacers. They're actually a lot better than you may think. They got Tyrese Haliburton, who averaged about 10 assists per game since he got traded this past season from Sacramento. They have former 10th pick in the 2020 draft, Jalen Smith. You have brand new 5th pick in the draft, Benedict Mathurin. You have former lottery pick Chris Duarte from last year's draft. And then you also have I think, absolute low-key of a gem in Isaiah Jackson. And, I mean, the list doesn't really end there. Their starting five this upcoming season is looking like, or projected to be, Tyrese Haliburton, Chris Duarte, Buddy Hield, Jalen Smith, Miles Turner. In my opinion, I think actually, this might be a hot take to start the video. I think that Buddy Hield and Miles Turner eventually get traded to the Lakers. But Lakers fans have been running up that tree for what feels like a very long time. The Miles Turner tree for a very, very long time. Now, before we get into this video, hit the like button, hit that sub button for daily NBA content. If you guys enjoy it, you want more Pacers content, drop a comment down below. But I know that a lot of Pacers fans wanted DeAndre Ayton, and they, quote-unquote, had him for like half a day. It's not the worst thing in the world. What that would have done is immediately diminished Miles Turner's trade value, who I still feel like majority of people in this league don't realize how young and how talented Miles Turner actually is. We're talking about mid-20s, stretch 5, who can get you 3 blocks a game and almost double-digit rebounds and score. It can shoot threes. It can protect the rim, 3 blocks a game. I know I reiterated those twice, but that's the whole freaking point, man. Like, Miles Turner's a good basketball player. Does he necessarily fit in the future? We'll see. We'll see. I've always been a pretty big fan of Miles Turner. Now, I'll say this, though. You didn't get DeAndre Ayton, and here's why it's actually not that big of a deal. I've been saying this on the channel for probably it's been like several weeks, several videos. Let me know if it's getting annoying. We're going into a lockout next season. All right? Next season will be condensed. I guarantee you, actually. We're going to see something very similar to 2016 with money. 2016, throw back the clock. Matthew Dellavedova. You had Timofey Mozgov. You've had Ryan Anderson, and the list does not end there. Begin tossed around $20 million a year. Now, while that still seems like a lot to pay those players, $20 million a year, because it is, at the time, that was a pretty lucrative contract. Like, $20 million a year, just as simple as like 6-7 years ago, was still a ton of money. Now you get like a rising star at $20 million a year, and you feel like you got a steal. So we're going to see increased money this upcoming season, and we're also going to see a condensed season. So here's my thinking with Indiana. Whether or not you trade Buddy Hield and you trade Miles Turner and you keep trying to unload these veterans, you're looking financially extremely flexible, and you have all of these lottery picks or these lottery-esque picks that are going to continue to develop, and eventually a star is going to break out. I don't know if it'll be Benedict. I don't know if it'll be Tyrese. I don't know if it'll be both of them. Chris Duarte, Isaiah Jackson, Jalen Smith. It could literally be any and all of them. It's going to happen. And when that does happen, Indiana's going to look like a tasty spot for an up-and-coming star, because you're like, all right, all these teams spent way too much money way too many seasons ago. They don't have the money to pay me right now, so I could take a pay cut and play for this team, or I could go on to this rising, young, talented team that can pay me a lot of money. And so Indiana, I guarantee you, it's going to be a low-key free agent destination starting next season. But you also got to keep in mind this. You traded away, I've got this on screen here, you traded away Malcolm Brogdon, who is extremely injury prone, for an actual first-round draft pick and for actual value. And with Malcolm Brogdon, the thing with Malcolm Brogdon is, yes, he's an extremely valuable player, but he's turning 30 in December, so you already eliminate him from the future of the Indiana Pacers, and he's also injured every single year. I mean, that was the issue with Malcolm Brogdon when he got drafted, or before he got drafted. The reason Brogdon fell to the second round, he won Rookie of the Year, by the way, which is very impressive. He's a very good basketball player when he's healthy, was because of his knee injuries. People were worried he wasn't even going to possibly last this long because of his legs. So you were able to get some value for Malcolm Brogdon. I'm going to take that. Some other key departures: T.J. Warren, Ricky Rubio. Not really a spot for either of those two cats, unfortunately. I would have loved for T.J. Warren to pan out into like a superstar-esque player, but once again, same thing with Brogdon. Injuries just kind of riddling his career. A very important retention was Jalen Smith. I cannot believe that you got number 10 pick in the draft in 2020 from the Phoenix Suns for a opened can of peanut butter. Peanut butter is good. I'm not here to disagree that peanut butter isn't good. But for Jalen Smith, I mean, that's a steal, bro. That is an absolute steal. So this past season, 22 games with Indiana, and he dealt with a lot of foul trouble. 13.4 points per game, 7.6 rebounds. He was picked number 10 for a reason. It gets me back to what I said at the beginning of this video. Whether it's Benedict, whether it's Tyrese, or whether it's Jalen, and by the way, I could see that becoming a legitimate big three, or it's their other contributors, a star will soon emerge in Indiana. In fact, I think we're already witnessing it with Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, we are witnessing it with Tyrese. We're literally witnessing a rising star in Tyrese Halliburton. So, you look good. You look good. Now, this website I have, what did they give their grade? Because I'm grading all these squads. They gave them a B. I guess that does make sense because some of your additions, Aaron Nesmith, who the Celtics never properly used, and if he could get consistent, Aaron Nesmith's actually a really solid player. Daniel Tice, his tenure probably won't last too long in Indiana. Same thing goes with Nick Stauskas. Stauskas, yeah. We'll run with it. I remember when he got drafted, and it feels like an eternity ago. Malik Fitz, Juwan Morgan, Benedict Mathurin, Andrew Nebhard. So you have a lot of young, promising potential. And so this upcoming season, man, what I would do is I would, I would trade Buddy Hield eventually. I'm not in a rush necessarily to trade Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, but I'll probably deal them sooner rather than later. And I would try and get as high of a pick as you can. I would try and suffer this upcoming season while your young talent turns into stars or possible superstars. I would get another top lottery pick. I know Indiana's been shafted several times. Try and get a top draft pick. And from there on out, go into next offseason with all this dough. We have possibly, the rumor on the street is this: the draft class and free agency class of next season is something we haven't seen in at least a decade. So I would take advantage of that while your stars continue to develop or your young talent continues to develop. And that's what they're going to do. They're just going to keep acclimating talent, whether it's young or whether it's rising stars or what have you. And I would imagine at most 5 years from now, the Indiana Pacers will be a very, very relevant playoff team. I would love to actually hear what you guys have to say. I don't make too many Pacers videos. If you guys want more Pacers video, please drop a comment or hit that like button to show some love. And I really want to hear from Pacers fans. Like, what do you guys think about this team? Because I have a hard time imagining you're not at least a little bit excited. That's it for today, man. Peace.